I'm Laurie with Emerge TV. Today I'm here with Linder and we're going to talk about talent optimization. Leo, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, it's fun to be here. Thank you so much. I appreciate the invitation.
So I talk about talent optimization all the time as the talent optimization lead with our team, but that's a really big fancy term and a lot of people are probably wondering what that means and what it looks like. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing with Emerge and how you're using talent optimization practically every day.
Absolutely. So from the business perspective, our main objective is to hire people very quickly and accurately, have them do better and have them stay longer. So what we found is that talent optimization has allowed us to do that. And so I love the simplicity of it. The way I use talent optimization is, first of all, I get a concept and I say, what's the job? And PI allows me to very simply, enter into the system what I think the job is. What are the requirements? And I can send that out to my colleagues. Hey, we're building a team together. What do you think this job is? Say it's a sales job for one of our clients, right? One of our enterprise software clients. What is the job? What are the general behaviors that we want this person to be able to naturally do easy? Okay, got it. So we got the job. Next, how does that job, map out to the rest of our team? Because teams, obviously it takes a culmination of people with different behaviors, different styles. So what I do is I look at where these people, the new team members would fit. Right? We can't all be mavericks or very gregarious, loud talkers, talking with their hands all the time, right? Sometimes we need people who can actually very naturally, help manage structure, understand compliance, run a project, grab the finance position with ease, be a natural team builder. These are all different archetypes of people that you need to make an initiative work. So, after I design the job, I look at the team, and then as we interview or bring new team members in, whether they're, already a member of the company or somebody we're hiring fresh and new into our organization, we can see where that person fits both within the team and how they line up with the job. And again, this is very much their behavioral states, right? So it's not necessarily hey, this person's a fit mathematically and this person's not. It gives us a probability of success so that somebody can walk into a job and their natural behaviors sort of make the job, quote unquote, easy for them to do. Right? Can somebody adapt? Of course. So we're always mindful of that. But at the end of the day, the business can usually put together a job target, a team dynamic, and really get some behavioral assessments out in hours. I mean, in less than a couple hours, we can design a whole team, send them out to candidates, and get a really good picture as to whether or not how long it's going to take this team to be built, execute, and honestly, what the probability of success is going to be.
In my brain, when you're saying this, I'm getting the visual of like pulling the arrow back. Yeah. So just building that strategy first, pulling it back so we can shoot forward.
Absolutely.
Right?
And the business wants to move fast. Our clients want to move fast. They're, the nature of Emerge business is to help companies grow, right? And we do that through talent, tech, and teams. So if our client needs to build revenue and they want to go into a new area, they want to bring a new product to market, new route to market, the most important thing to them is going to be velocity, right? So how quickly can we move and how certain are we moving? So being able to design the team, essentially put our talent strategy together in a very, very, very compressed time frame and then have it automated in an actual platform is huge. Now, I mean, there's a lot of different tools out there. Literally more than you can number. The reason why we gravitate to PI is because there's a platform that's very easy. Our managers can log in, we can see the team. It's very easy to do. And like I say, usually I can design a whole team in less than an hour or two, get the assessments out, get the results in, and I'm done. And honestly, we have a very, very robust talent practice here. That's unheard of. Like, how do you design a job, a team, and know exactly what you're looking for in a couple hours, let alone days or weeks? Right. So very exciting, and that's why from a business perspective, my first motion in launching a new new program for a client or internally at Emerge, first thing I do is I design the job, design the team, and then just see how people fit together.
So we talked a little bit about hiring faster and then looking at the team and that doing better piece. How is talent optimization helping the teams that you're building do better?
Number one, communication and understanding. If I understand that sometimes, my archetype in the PI world is Maverick, right? So I know sometimes I can take an idea, run with it, and say, we're gonna be able to finish it, we're gonna, really do well. That's fantastic. Meanwhile, my other team member here saying, how?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how is it that we're gonna climb this mountain? How is it that we're gonna get it done? So I'm moving faster than my team member. So what PI does is it allows us to give the language to communicate. Not only me a reminder to say, hey, we have to pay respect to how, but also it gives the person who's worried about how we're gonna get this job done, okay, the tools to talk to me and slow me down. So it creates literally a fast track to an understanding in what I say cultural significance, right? We can create a significant culture together if we understand what our behavioral tendencies are. And it's not about me individually or another person. It's not about, our specific personality traits. It's more about just our behavioral tendencies, right? I have a tendency sometimes to use my hands when I talk and, really move quickly, but somebody else might not do that. So I remember, number one, most importantly, PI helps me remember is match literally the intensity level, right?
Yep.
So if we're having a conversation, I'm gonna match your intensity. Not tone, not necessarily emotion, right? You could be, one person could be happy, another person could be, sad, but using plain language, match literally the intensity level, right? Whether it's up or down, that's a great reminder, and PI is a fantastic tool to give us the tools to do that, number one. And then once we match that intensity level, all of a sudden communication falls into line, right? Things like timelines, things like meetings, does one person get on the call and filibusters it and you hang up and there's no action items and no follow-up, right? Everybody's been on those meetings, right? So what we want to do is just normalize that down and say, hey, listen, how is it that everybody can contribute, everybody can really communicate on terms that they're comfortable with?
You're talking a little bit too about the platinum rule, I think. The golden rule is treat others how you want to be treated, but the platinum rule is treating others how they want to be treated.
I love it.
So you learned that a little bit. So tell me a little bit more. You talked about the team design and the visual tool. What does that look like?
So to me, I love it because it's super simple. It looks like a radar chart, and there's 4 quadrants, right? And when I look at it, I can see immediately where the team falls. And so super simply, if everybody that I bring into a new team that I'm creating is all in one quadrant because they look and think like me, which is generally how most people get hired, right? We look, hire, and act all congruently, right? So I can immediately check myself and say, wow, okay, we need somebody that can counterbalance me. We need a good balanced team that's structured around the job target that we developed, right? So we developed a job target, we build the team, and we can see where everybody lies. And then for roles that scale, so for instance, maybe we need one product manager, we need one finance manager, one analyst, and then we need 10 salespeople, for instance, okay, on a team. So it allows us to make sure that when we're hiring 10 salespeople, that we understand where they fit, are we being consistent, and really allows us to optimize that role over time, right? So we think we have a job target and a behavioral target that works, but then we can see over time, what are the key metrics? Are they hitting those metrics? What's their behavioral type? Do we get it right? And it's a great tool for coaching, which again, the business loves because every business says, yeah, our managers need to be great coaches. Managers are like, I'm not a coach. Somebody just hired me because I was good on the phone, right? So what PI does is it actually provides tear sheets, coaching tear sheets, and it's amazing, right? So anybody responsible for communicating with another human, give them a cheat sheet. And so that's the fundamentals of how do I communicate with somebody just on their terms, the platinum rule, number one. And then number two, if I'm responsible for coaching, mentoring, or managing, gosh, give me a cheat sheet. So PI gives fantastic readout documents so that management, especially early in career managers that are extremely talented, they know how to communicate with other team members that might be either in a different generational segment, number one, number two, geographical differences, and certainly behavioral differences.
That sounds like you're really setting up people that you're using this tool with for growth. So you're looking at this for an organization that's growing. We have people, we want to keep them for a long time. We want to lead them into the next position so we can use PI to help do that.
Yeah, 100%. You hit the nail on the head. So Emerge, we not only use the tool internally for our portfolio of companies, but I mean, Emerge is a growth business. So we have sort of an unfair advantage because we get to work with our customers every day, see what their organizations are. They have a new product, you need to bring it to market, a new route to market, for instance, especially in the tech space. It's absolutely moving so quickly. The route to market is changing. How software is bought and sold, how financial services and fintechs are bought and sold are changing very, very rapidly. So being able to respond very quickly, build teams, and then see how we build growth programs for our companies, for our customers, has allowed us just to really get some pretty good insights as to what works and what doesn't.
What other parts of the talent optimization tool that you're using and all that, how else is this helping you grow and your clients grow?
So I think, after we have the culture set and we understand the job, we understand the team, I think then it's engagement. How do you stay engaged, right? Engagement has got to be more than an annual survey, right? So there's lots of tools, both in PI and I think, great people who care about people, right, have great ideas. They have great thoughts on how to reach out, how to engage others, especially if you understand from a platinum role perspective, as you mentioned earlier, what's important to that person, right? So we need to have the creativity and culture and what we call caring. Caring is one of our core values at Emerge, right? If you just care, engagement goes a lot smoother.
Right.
Okay? So if you care and you want to engage the team, right, so that they do better and stay longer, then give them a platform, give them a tool to be able to send that pulse survey, to send that email, to be able to reach out to somebody in a structured way so that they understand why you appreciate it. So if I said, hey, Laurie, you're doing a great job, you're like, okay, thanks, right? But if I said, Laurie, you're doing a great job because you're helping the company advance its behavioral practice. And that is allowing us to be successful as an organization, number one, which means we can employ more people, we can have a greater quality of life, and we can serve more clients and share what we know. That is literally the why in a chain or a stacking effect, right? So we take what's really the because you're doing a good job and stack it, what it means to me, what it means to you, what it means to our organization, our clients. So whatever the combination of stacked components are, it'll be different for everybody. You're providing feedback and engagement with purpose, right?
Yeah.
So,
and you're talking a lot about different things like how much the world is changing. You're talking about technology, you're talking about, different ways we're doing business.
Yeah.
But the common thread here is that always behind the curtain is people.
Oh, 100%. We use ACE as an acronym for our values. So accountability, authenticity, creativity, caring, excellence, and energy. Now, that, if you've been anywhere with me at Emerge, you'll hear me talking about ACE, AACCEE. Accountability, authenticity, creativity, caring, excellence, and energy. All of those come together as really the formula that creates the fabric for success. Our organization, literally everything that we design, we do, maps back to one of those values. And like I said, I've picked out caring earlier in our conversation. I'll go back to that. If we're authentic and we care, it's a lot easier to be excellent. Right? Because excellence is going to literally be a byproduct of where we put our focus, right? If we put our focus and our energy into caring and excellence, we're going to do a great job. People are going to know it, and people want to be a part of an organization that's well run and they're around people who care.
Yep, definitely. So you're building right from the foundation. No matter what you're doing, whether it's technology changes or taking something to market really fast, you're starting with people.
Mission, vision, values, then you can design a job and a team in, like I say, in no time, right? If you're using the right tools, of course. And then it just becomes a question of behaviorally, is the person a fit for the role, number one, and two, do they align with our system of values and the way that we operate as an organization.
And how long have you been using this for?
So we have used behavioral assessments since day one. I remember the first time we just refounded the business, and I got a fantastic opportunity with a brand new client, and I was they said you can help us grow it was a top client management program, so we had to help their top clients grow sales in a new segment. They were bringing a new product to market, and they said, can you launch 100 salespeople in X amount of time and essentially double, which became over $1 billion in incremental sales in a 3-year period, by the way. So there were massive goals. And, as somebody who was confident, I said, absolutely, we can do that, right? And I walked out of that meeting saying, how are we going to do that? So I immediately said, we have to be able to hire with certainty. And so behavioral assessments were the first tool we used to make sure that we designed the job. Back then, we didn't have all the tools that we have now. But I knew we had to design the job. We had to design the behavioral patterns of the people that were going to join the team. And you know what? I mean, by the good graces of the team, lots of hard work, we stuck together, we were able to get the job done, and it was a very successful program. And honestly, it helped validate the way that we built our company, and that's what allowed us to take that template and be a company of growth, right? So we can bring that template out to our clients, show them, hey, here's how we built not only our business, but here's also how we built businesses in your industry, businesses in your vertical, businesses that are lookalike models that you want to be like, right? Maybe your company's growing at 2 or 3% a year. And we all know that if we're not growing, we're going to hit a wall, right? Why? Because there's always going to be some fall off, either a customer orders less, your product begins to phase out. So we know we have to grow. And so if a company's growing at 2 or 3%, and they're like, I want explosive growth, I want to grow at 20% a year. Well, okay, that's going to take new thinking, a new route to market perhaps a new product, perhaps a new positioning, right? So there's a lot of things that we want to try, but we don't want to disturb that running machinery, right? Because this is what's keeping the lights on and paying the bills. So in a new route to market, we've been able at Emerge Growth Services, we have both an enterprise and a small business group that can help design a new route to market, build a team, okay, and that's where an understanding of behavioral practices comes in, because when we build that new team, we want them to be able to move at a different pace than the current culture, right? So we can almost design our culture and be very intentional about who's on the team, why, how we're going to market, the pace, the style, and really, once we have that model, we can just execute. And then eventually, what happens is this new route to market becomes just a route to market, right? So you have a 2% growth business and you have a 20% growth business, right? Now all of a sudden there's a convergence, right? It's because it follows the natural business cycles. Every business needs to transform their business. Once they go through that transformational process, whether it's a good event or a bad event, hey, we need to transform. Okay, excellent. Then once we get that transformation defined, we need to grow it. We need to scale that transformation. And then when it gets to this, to our target size, then it becomes business as usual. Let's run the business. We're just going to run it, take cost out of it, optimize it, right? And then the cycle starts again. Right? Transform, grow, and run. Those are the 3 business life cycle paradigms that we focus on. And to be able to really promote change, transformation in an organization, we have to use behavioral design tools to design a new team, because otherwise we're going to wind up with a team that looks like our current run the business model.
So you've used this from day one. You talk about an addition of different tools and things that you use, and you've seen this go through the whole life cycle.
Yeah.
What is your best advice for someone who's like, oh, you're talking about $1 billion in sales, I'm interested in that, or they want to know how do you start, or what's the best advice that you have? What would you say?
Sure. Start super simple and fast, because number one, obviously having mission, vision, values is something I believe in to be able to put a growth plan together. Mission, vision, values, so we know how we're going to operate. That's the operating system of our business, okay? Next, understand our realistic growth strategies and targets. So an SMB, so a small business is going to grow very, very differently than an enterprise. So understand where you're at. And we've got a group and a really, really fascinating software product called Growth Cloud. They have templates for growth. So find the template that already worked, right? Why spend 5 years, trying to invent something new?
Yep.
Routes to market are something that are easily blueprinted and executable. So if you're a small business, we've got a program that's called Find My 50. It allows you to take 50 targets, prospects, customers, or people that you know that you can influence and scale it, right? Only work your top 50. Why? It creates focus, it creates intent, and it's easy to manage. On the enterprise side, obviously the programs are bigger, but the fundamentals are the same. Keep it simple. Execute a new route to market on the enterprise side. So getting started, very, very simply, is just focus on a blueprint that is simple and works for your business, and then you can build a team that is a fit for that cadence, that culture. Are you making 100 calls a day talking to new prospects, or are you using digital marketing, or is it an enterprise sale where your product or service might take 6 months, right, to get traction? So understanding where you're at is what I call the come to your favorite religious figure conversation you have with yourself and saying, hey, this is the truth.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at.
Right.
Once you can do that, then it's really easy to find a blueprint for growth and then execute, execute, execute.
So basically, understand where you're at, find that secret sauce, and go after it.
Absolutely. And that secret sauce is on the shelf somewhere.
Yeah.
You don't have to invent it. That's the biggest learning that I've had in my career, is that I don't have to create the secret sauce every time. Somebody already has. You just got to go and get the little single serving size, right?
Yep. Taking one bite at a time.
Take it one bite at a time.
Well, Leo, thank you so much for sharing and for being on the show with us. We really appreciate you being here.
Well, it's exciting. I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you so much, Laurie. And I'm super excited about the work you're doing in talent optimization. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to check us out again on Emerge TV.